It started with 14 students in 1964. Today, the University of Stellenbosch Business School, with its 3 international accreditations, is recognized by the global business school community as a leading school.
Management education has a benefit for society, of course. We want a well-educated industrial workforce. But of course, as a business school, our contribution is to use an individual. And there are 2 aspects to this. You will want a job when you get your MBA or your Masters in coaching or whatever. And therefore you need to fit yourself with contemporary skills. You need to know what's going on in the world at the moment, so that you need to know about finance and marketing and ops, and you need to know how those things work together in a firm. For example, how does finance work with strategy to ensure the survivability of the firm? But as an individual, you've got to remember that your career problem is not just the next year. You have to fit yourself with the intellectual skills to be able to deal with uncertain things in the future. And that means that you have to be able to understand how to make decisions under uncertainty, how to form a good argument, how to be critical of an argument that is presented to you, in order that sometime in the future you can solve a problem you have not yet seen.
I decided to do an MBA as I wanted to change my career and thought it would be better to invest in myself before going forward.
As an engineer, my career prospects were limited in engineering. For management purposes, I decided that an MBA was the best option for me.
Where I had gone up to then in my career, my marketing diploma and my work experience served me well, but I was starting to get into territory where I was feeling in over my head. And the MBA would give me those kind of skills I had hoped, and thankfully it has.
Our main role as a business school, remembering that we're part of a university, is to create and disseminate knowledge. Sometimes that knowledge is new, we call that research, so that we go out and investigate how the world works. We develop frameworks and theories as to why people buy things, why firms succeed, etc. But we also disseminate it, and it's the dissemination, the publishing of knowledge, the putting it together in a form that people can take into themselves and then use to frame action in the world, is what the main part of the business school is. We call them programs and courses, but what they are is, firstly, a transfer of knowledge from very skilled professional academics into the students' minds, cognition, but it's also a co-production. It's students working with professors jointly to understand how the world works. And that's a pretty exciting intellectual environment, but it's also a demanding one.
The Rector and Vice-Chancellor of the USB's mother institution, Stellenbosch University, believes the university should support Africa's growth agenda.
The main elements of our strategic framework is in the first place to remain an internationally competitive university that is research-based, and also to keep on strengthening our teaching and learning as well as our community engagement. Beyond that, we want to be known as a university that plays a role in Africa on the continent by strengthening the scientific footprint on the continent.
The USB is the only business school of an African-born university with all 3 of the international accreditations: AACSB, EQUIS, and AMBER. The USB's efforts to contribute to a sustainable society are recognized by international organizations. When it comes to rankings, the USB regularly appears among the top 3 schools in Africa and in South Africa. This is the USB's portfolio of triple accredited programs. The USB has positioned itself as the knowledge partner of the world in Africa and of Africa in the world.
What makes you international is the activities that you undertake. For example, the diversity of the student body in terms of language, culture, religion, nationality is very large, not just on the MBA but in the development finance degree as well. And that means that the environment within the lecture room is enriched by a number of different viewpoints. There is no single viewpoint in business education. We have a strong program of visiting fellows who come here from all over the world. One of the main activities of the school is educating top students from top business schools in African issues. So here you have a body of activities of bringing the world into Africa, and also a body of activities which push people with African experience out into the world, and that's internationalization. We are insistent that students on the MBA do a compulsory study tour. An international contact with an academic study tour into another part of the world is essential. It opens our minds.
The biggest takeaway from the international module was seeing how, number one, other business schools teach their students, what other business students are learning at international institutions, and it gave an avenue to compare how the USB tallies internationally.
The world is getting much smaller from a business point of view, and having global experience is vital.
The international module was an enriching experience. The international exposure was very valuable, as was the opportunity to network with different people.
International participation is also accomplished through partnership agreements with business schools in other countries. The USB has over 80 agreements with schools on all continents. This leads to student exchanges, overseas study tours, visiting academics, and joint research. The school is also a member of the world's leading business school associations. Study options for foreign students include the USB's MBA, Portfolio of Development Finance Programs, MPhil in Management Coaching, and Exchange Studies.
But it's difficult to develop a one-size-fits-all program for foreign business schools, so we endeavour to customize these programs for our foreign clients, as it were, to understand what their objectives are, and then to co-create, as it were, a program that would need their learning objectives, in as much as that we decide jointly upon the academic work that they will be exposed to, the applied academic work, as well as the industries, and within those industries, the companies that they would be exposed to.
For me, it is much more important to have a taste of different cultures, which I can bring into my thinking process, and it's very much tuned to what I'm studying.
Research is a strategic objective at the USB. 5 research centers play a major role in creating the USB's thought leadership. The USB's main social initiatives are its Small Business Academy, its subsidized management program for non-profit organizations, and its bursary program.
With the Small Business Academy, the USB wants to make a difference to the lives and businesses of small business owners in Khayelitsha and other communities. For 2013, we have chosen 20 participants, and they have started in March.
When you look at entrepreneurs or small businesses operating, and most people, they tend to think that the skill that is needed is a hard skill, and they forget that there are 2 types of skill that you're looking at. There are soft skills, where you look at the development of the person who is driving the business, the confidence of the person, and the belief of the person on the leadership in the person who runs the businesses.
The exciting part is that our MBA and other master students will also be involved in this program, where they will assist the small business owners to create a business plan. And they will have the opportunity of doing their own research for their research reports in Khayelitsha.
The USB focuses on building relationships with its 15,000 alumni in various ways. The USB Alumni Association has branches all over South Africa, in Africa, and in Europe.
In my capacity as president of the Alumni Association, I'm fully committed to creating a stimulating environment for graduates and to adding value for the various stakeholders, namely the alumni, the business school itself, the various companies involved, and importantly, the South African economy at large.
The USB offers the technology and facilities expected from a top-class business school. Services to students include career development and planning, as well as exposure to job opportunities. The campus on the hill. The USB is situated in the Tyger Valley Business District, about halfway between Cape Town and Stellenbosch. The USB is surrounded with world-famous attractions like Table Mountain, Cape Point, Robben Island. The neighbouring Boland area is known for its cultural heritage, winelands and scenic beauty.
I think USB is not for everybody. If you're the right person for USB, then USB is right for you. And you know, I'm very enthusiastic about the school. I think it fits a lot of people's requirements, but I'm also realistic that it may not fit some other people's requirements. You may be happier with a distance learning program, for example, because you physically can't be here. But if you want that engagement with academics, with business people, with other students, and an engagement that's high quality, then you come here.